Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Doobie, and in the next few minutes we will be reviewing phrases for your upcoming test. The thing about phrases is that they act as a single part of speech, so a group of words that is acting as another part of speech. So for the prepositional phrases, they'll act as adjectives or adverbs. Appositives act as nouns, participles act as adjectives, gerunds act as nouns, and infinitives could act as nouns, adjectives, or adverbs. First, we'll talk about prep phrases. Prep phrases start with a preposition and they end with an object of the preposition. And these are modifiers, so they can be adjectival or adverbial. The first example says Mr. Hyde hid in the lab. It's always important to find your subject and your verb first. Mr. Hyde hid. In the lab is the prep phrase, starting with the preposition and ending with the object of the preposition. To figure out whether it's adjectival or adverbial, you have to look and see what the prep phrase is modifying. Here, it's modifying hid, because it's telling where Mr. Hyde hid. And since I'm modifying a verb here, this entire prep phrase will be called adverbial. The next one, the girl on the corner did not expect to face the monstrosity. The girl is the subject noun, and what's being said about her, she did not expect. So did is the helping verb, expect is the verb. On the corner is the prep phrase. Preposition and object of the preposition. You might look and see to face and think that's a preposition, but actually to face here is an infinitive because you have to plus a verb, which is not a prep phrase. On the corner then, we need to figure out what it's modifying. Here it's modifying the girl. It's telling which girl. Now even though it sounds like it's where the girl is and where is an adverb question, that doesn't matter. It's all about the word that it's modifying. So if I'm modifying a noun, that means that the prep phrase is adjectival. Next is appositives. Appositives always act as nouns because they are simply renaming another noun. So Dr. Jekyll, the reputable scientist, was respected around London. The reputable scientist is your appositive phrase that is renaming Dr. Jekyll. Again, it's not necessarily describing Dr. Jekyll because that would make it an adjective. Here it's renaming the subject. His friend Dr. Lanyon was not fond of his scientific balderdash. Here we have Dr. Lanyon as the appositive phrase because it's renaming friend. Here you should not put commas because Dr. Lanyon needs to stay in the sentence here. If I didn't have Dr. Lanyon in the sentence, I would not know which friend was not fond of his scientific balderdash. Whereas on the top sentence, I can take the reputable scientist out because Dr. Jekyll is enough information to clearly identify who I'm talking about. The next phrase is participles. Participles act as adjectives all the time. They are modifiers. And this is one of the verbal phrases where it takes a verb and it looks like a verb in disguise. So take a verb and it's acting as another part of speech. So the maid, frightened by the brutal murder, fainted. Frightened is not the verb in the sentence. Fainted is. The maid's the subject and fainted is the verb. Frightened is a participle that's describing the maid, and the participle phrase is the entire thing, frightened by the brutal murder. So here you would draw an arrow to maid because that participle phrase is modifying her. Trampling around London, Mr. Hyde kept a low profile. Here you have a present participle that ends in ing. Trampling around London is describing Mr. Hyde, who is the subject of the sentence, while kept is the verb. The devastating news spread across town. Here you don't have a participle phrase, you simply have a participle that's describing, modifying news, the subject noun of the sentence. It doesn't necessarily need to be an entire phrase to make it a participle. Here we just have one word that's describing news. And just remember about participles that they always end in ing or ed, And the trick for these is that you can take them out of the sentence and you will still maintain the meaning of the sentence. Okay, so just try to scratch them out and see if it works. Now the next ones look strikingly similar, but they're very different. Gerunds are nouns, and they'll always act as nouns, but they end in ing. So a quick trick you can do to test whether your ing word is a participle or a gerund is to see if you can take it out of the sentence. Gerunds you cannot take out because they are essential parts of the sentence. The noun jobs they could be are subject noun, object of the prep, do, io, pn, or a positive. So you have to know these in order to figure out what gerunds are acting as. So I have the same gerund in all these following examples, but they're used in different parts of the sentence as different noun jobs. So here you have walking on Sunday mornings is Utterson's routine. The gerund phrase is walking on Sunday mornings. And here you see that it's the subject noun of the sentence, because what is Utterson's routine? Walking on Sunday mornings. There is the subject noun. For the next sentence, Utterson enjoys walking on Sunday mornings. Utterson's the subject now. Enjoys is the verb, and you ask, he enjoys what? Walking on Sunday mornings. That is your direct object. Utterson naps after walking on Sunday mornings. Again, here's your gerund phrase. Look around. You have a subject noun, a verb. After is a preposition. After what? Walking on Sunday mornings. There is your object of the preposition. Utterson's favorite activity is walking on Sunday mornings. Activity is the subject noun. Is a linking verb, which should clue you on to see that walking on Sunday mornings is your predicate nominative predicate noun. And then Utterson's favorite activity, walking on Sunday mornings, delights him. We just did this kind of phrase where you're renaming the noun that comes before it. So if I'm renaming this noun, this gerund is acting as an appositive. The thing about this is that gerunds that act as appositives are the only type of gerund that you can take out of the sentence and still have a logical sentence. So, as opposed to the next one where you have Utterson walking on Sunday mornings is delighted. This is not a gerund at all. This is a participle because we're describing Utterson. So you can take this out when it's a participle. But you can also take out this gerund. Why? Just because it's an appositive, and by nature, appositives can be removed from the sentence. Lastly, we have infinitives. Infinitives are tricky because they can be nouns, adjectives, or adverbs, depending on their function. And what they look like is they're to plus a verb. Utterson knew to expect foul play. Here we have an infinitive phrase that's acting as a noun, because you have Utterson knew what? He knew to expect foul play. That's what he's expecting. That's what he knew. Next one, Mr. Hyde is the man to suspect in the disappearance of Dr. Jekyll. To suspect in the disappearance of Dr. Jekyll is the infinitive phrase. Here it's modifying. It's modifying man. So if I'm modifying a noun, this infinitive phrase is going to be adjectival. And then lastly, to maintain his integrity. There's our infinitive phrase. Utterson does not open Lanyon's letter. This is why he does not open. If I'm modifying the verb open and it's telling why, then this infinitive phrase is adverbial. And now you have some time to practice. So go through these examples, find the phrases. It doesn't tell you what kinds they are, but there's the various different types within these examples. Find the phrase and then figure out what part of speech the phrase is acting as.